Welcome back to Horror Rewind, the podcast that dissects the genre's most iconic nightmares. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sarah. Tonight, we're stepping into the flickering halls of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where childhood nostalgia curdles into animatronic dread.
From a solo indie game to a global horror empire, Five Nights at Freddy's has evolved into something far bigger than jump scares. Its lore, its legacy, and now it's a blockbuster.
We'll explore the original game's design, the twisted brilliance of Into the Pit, and how Universal and Blumhouse turned this pixelated panic into a cinematic event.
Let's rewind.
In 2014, Scott Cawthon released Five Nights at Freddy's, a deceptively simple survival horror game. You're a night guard, the animatronics roam, and your only defense? Cameras, doors, and limited power.
It was claustrophobic. It was quiet. And then, bam, a jump scare that rewired the internet's fear response.
Streamers latched on, the fandom exploded, and suddenly this tiny game was everywhere. YouTube, Reddit, fan art, theory videos. It wasn't just scary, it was mysterious.
Because beneath the surface was a story. Missing children, possessed suits, a killer known only as Purple Guy. And that's where the obsession began.
Fast forward to Into the Pit, the first entry in the Fazbear Frights book series. It's not just a game anymore, it's a horror anthology.
In Into the Pit, we meet Oswald, a boy who discovers a time-traveling ball pit that leads to 1985, and a Freddy animatronic with glowing eyes and murderous intent.
It's surreal, nostalgic, and terrifying. The story expands the FNAF universe beyond the pizzeria into themes of regret, time distortion, and childhood trauma.
And it proves something crucial. FNAF isn't just about gameplay. It's about mythology, a sprawling, interconnected horror web that fans can't stop unraveling.
In 2023, Universal and Blumhouse released the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Directed by Emma Tammy, it brought the animatronics to life with practical effects and a surprisingly emotional core.
Josh Hutcherson plays Mike Schmidt, a troubled man haunted by his brother's disappearance. The film blends game mechanics, security cameras, jump scares, with deeper lore.
And the animatronics? Created by Jim Henson's Creature Shop. They're massive, expressive, and terrifying. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, they're not just mascots, they're monsters.
The film was a box office beast, over $270 million globally. It shattered expectations and proved that indie horror can dominate the mainstream.
Blumhouse took a niche fandom and gave it cinematic weight. Universal gave it reach, and together, they turned FNAF into a franchise that rivals Saw, Halloween, and The Conjuring.
FNAF taps into primal fears, being watched, being hunted, being powerless. But it also taps into nostalgia, Chuck E. Cheese, Showbiz Pizza, animatronics that were always a little too lifelike.
And it's layered. Every game adds new mechanics, new lore, new questions. Who is the puppet? What's the bite of 87? Is William Afton truly dead?
Fans become detectives. Theories become canon. And the line between game and story blurs.
Into the Pit adds emotional depth. The movie adds cinematic scale. And the fandom adds fuel. FNAF isn't just a game, it's a phenomenon.
So whether you're a night guard, a lore junkie, or just someone who fears animatronic eyes in the dark, FNAF has something for you.
From indie roots to blockbuster heights, it's a franchise that proves horror doesn't need gore. It just means imagination.
Next time on Horror Rewind, we're flipping the channel to a classic, crypt keepers, twisted morality tales, and practical effects that still hold up.
Episode 5 dives into Tales from the Crypt, the horror anthology that defined late-night terror and gave us some of the genre's most iconic episodes.
Subscribe, comment, and tell us, what's your favorite FNAF theory? And remember,
Keep your doors closed, your cameras on, and your eyes peeled.
because the animatronics are always watching.